Wonderful. Okay, let's get started. Welcome to our Heart-Brain Coherence session on Instagram, Second Life and Matrix. Good to have you here. Welcome back. Hello, Wildly Aligned. Good to see you too. Today we're going to talk about getting stuck with meditation. What makes it that your meditation practice doesn't work, that you don't get enough benefit from it? What are the reasons for that? So I'll go shortly through some points and explain why. I'll be very strict. I'll be not so nice to people who think they can do certain things with meditation and benefit from it. So you might get a little bit confronted with your own meditation practice. So be it. Can be kind all the time. Have to run through the facts. And of course we end up with doing a little meditation, a heart-brain coherence meditation. Andrea, good to see you. Hello, glad to hear your insights. Great. Awesome. Let us get started with the first point. I don't want to talk too much and too long because people, especially online, the attention span is not that great when being online. Great. So the most important thing, and actually for me it's like the number one, you don't practice consistently. I see it a lot. There are people here, either on Second Life, on a Matrix meeting room, and even on our Instagram chat right now. And there are even people coming to my offline classes who only meditate when they are meditating with me or some other guide or some other meditation teacher. And in between those sessions, they don't meditate. All nice and well, you have of course benefit of such meditations, but it doesn't help you personally. It doesn't get you into a good practice for meditation. You should practice every day. It's that simple. And you don't have to sit for hours. I know some people, especially the younger generation, that are very keen on, today I sat in meditation for 2 hours. That's not important. It is the practice and the consistency. Doing this every day gets your brain rewired and it really gives benefit to you. And you will notice that in everyday life. You will notice your triggers coming up. You will get those opportunities where you can take a pause and think about what is happening to you. You get more control and more insight over your feelings during the day, and you can anticipate and you can react to that other than doing your normal automatic triggers or automatic response to those triggers. So if you really want to use meditation to change your life, to become a better version of yourself, or even to manifest, you have to practice meditation every day. Andrea says, prayer is meditation, same as showering and brushing your teeth. Exactly. If you manage to brush your teeth every day, you manage to do meditation every day as well. I strongly advise sticking to one meditation technique for your daily practice. You can, of course, in the beginning, try several techniques. Stick with your favorite one and do that one every day, preferably in the morning. So set your alarm. If you have a working day, for example, set your alarm 5 to 10 minutes before your usual alarm time and use those 5 to 10 minutes to do your meditation practice. And at the end of this session, I'm going to teach you a meditation practice that you can do, especially in the morning, and that will set your state of being for the rest of the day. And that's a fun practice because you can evaluate how your day has been based on what you did in the morning. So do that. Very important one. I could have stopped right there because that's the number one. You don't practice consistently. You don't practice every day. Also, the next one, you expect too much too soon. Meditation, I say it often, is not a pill. Again, it goes on with that consistent practice as well. It's not something you do once in a while, like against a headache or something like that. and then it works straight away. This is a practice. This is something you have to do over and over again. You didn't learn how to ride a bike in one day either. You have to practice over and over again. Very important. Otherwise it won't stick. Otherwise your mindset won't shift if you want to do that. Another one is that you don't prepare for your practice. You just run straight into it, and it happens especially on Instagram, for example. I always announce my sessions in well ahead of time, but on Instagram people are too hasteful. On other platforms like Second Life and a Matrix, people really take the time and say, oh yeah, 10 p.m. Central European time every Monday, we have this meditation session with Seb. Only a few people on Instagram do that. The rest are just too busy with everything else that comes over them, which I will talk a little bit about in the next step or a next point. And they forget, and they run into the session either too late, like some people do now, and get halfway into it, just sit down the moment I start meditation. It won't work. Your brain, your mind is still in gear and still thinking about what other things you have seen or what is laying ahead of you. So always mentally prepare before doing your meditation. Maybe you want to set an intention already before you sit down. That helps. Another thing that helps is having a little shrine or some things around you that you feel comfortable around when meditating. So a little altar, for example, some people have that, and that programs their body, their nervous system basically to say, oh, when I see that, when I sit here, when I am in this environment, your body already drops into a meditative state much more easily than just jumping into something and then starting. I had it on last Saturday. One of my participants on an offline session, deep meditation, was late and came into the room right before we were getting started with a heart-brain coherence warm-up. And of course she said, oh, this didn't really work out. No, because you were stressed still and you sit down right away, so you weren't prepared. So always prepare. Another one is jumping from technique to technique. Nothing wrong with trying out certain techniques, but like I said, find your favorite one. Find your favorite meditation technique. Mine is heart-brain coherence, but it doesn't have to be your favorite technique. It can be something else. And stick with that. Don't do everything at the same time. Explore and then settle down for a longer period of time with that same technique. Might be that you get tired of one technique after a while as well, that you want to do something else, but don't go within a few months over 4 techniques, for example. Stick with one and stick with that for a couple of months to really get to know the benefits from it or what effect it has on you. Next one is that you doubt yourself. You're always wondering, am I doing it right? It comes back often. I had a fireside chat on Friday and I got reminded about the same thing again on Saturday as well, again in another meditation session. People asking, am I doing it right? Well, you just have to tell yourself, I don't give a shit. I don't care if I do it wrong or right, I just do it. Yeah? So let go of the worry about if you're doing it wrong or right. Just do it. You will notice when it helps. You will notice the effect when you are in a meditative state. Especially deep meditation, if you notice that if you don't notice the time anymore, then you're absolutely in a good deep meditative state. So don't stress too much. Your mind is also, if you worry all the time, your mind is busy as well. So I would just say, let that shit go. Don't worry. Sit down, and the easiest thing you can do is just focus on your breath. Focus on your breath. Or if you want to keep your eyes open, focus on an object in the room. It's a focused meditation. Just practice. Let me see for my notes. Something I already told about. You beat yourself up when you get distracted. That's also one. Like the moment you notice that your mind has wandered off and your thoughts are all over the place, like I often say in a guided session, don't see that as something negative. Like, oh, I can't meditate. This is going in the wrong direction. Don't judge yourself for this happening. This is part of the practice. Part of the practice is that you notice your mind wandering off, that you notice certain thoughts around a certain theme coming up all the time. And it's actually, I would say, you get bonus points. Whenever you notice that, you get a bonus point from me, because that means that you can get back to your breath, back to your meditation. And once you do that, you notice those thoughts disappearing again, those feelings disappearing again. And of course, after a little while, the next one comes up. That's how the practice is. So don't worry. And the less you judge yourself for it, the easier it gets as well. The easier and the faster you get into those good, deep meditative states where the pauses between thoughts, the gaps between thoughts become bigger and bigger. Another one is keeping your mind too busy during the day. Difficult one to explain, because what you learn in your practice, like having a certain distance from stressful situations, that's something you will most likely notice after a couple of months of continuing daily practice, that you are more the observer of situations around you than that you are feeling to be in the middle of all the stress. So if you, after a couple of months, still are in that state where you can get totally into a stress situation and everything is chaotic around you and you can't make any good decisions anymore, for example, that means probably that when you get out of your meditation, that you just throw it away, that you don't take it with you through the rest of your day, that you just go back straight through your old habits, your old self, and forget totally about what you've practiced. So I would say always take a part of that practice with you. That's also what we're going to practice today. Get into a certain state of being, get out of the meditation, but keep that state of being with you. Keep those feelings and emotions, that person you created there, with you. And the last one, you consume too much media, which correlates to, for example, Instagram, which is a mess, and studies also say that it is not good for people's mental health. You get an information overload from social media like Instagram and media in general, the news nowadays as well. Nothing wrong with following the news, but don't go into the details. I mean, there's so much going on in the world all the time, good and bad, and the news will most only give you something bad to think about. What I do is just reading the headlines. And some things pique my interest, and then I go and read about it, but I really just browse over it. Because especially current events, things happening in the world, which I directly don't have control over, that shouldn't worry me throughout the day. I know people that are very caught up into what is happening in the Ukraine right now, in Russia, the NATO things, and they're constantly on their screens browsing through all the details. Oh, a bridge has blown up, and they read everything around it. Who has done that? How the bridge has blown up? And this gives you so much useless information because you can't do anything with it. It's enough that you know that the bridge has been blown up. I mean, that should be enough. The rest, unless you live near that bridge, the rest isn't important right now. I mean, that is only for people that are really there right now, that are really involved with it. You are most likely not involved with it. So it's okay to stay up to date about current events because you learn from it. Of course, you're in society and you're participating, but don't let your mind be consumed by all the details. Yeah? So that's an important part as well, because that actually just ruins your whole meditation practice as well. If you get into meditation with such a full mind, with so many details about current events, it takes some time to get rid of that and really focus on what matters to you. All right, okay. So those are some of the points. Flow said, can you share the app names other than Instagram? Well, if you want a good substitute for a replacement for Instagram, I must say, go to Vero True Social. As you've noticed, if you follow me on Instagram, I rarely post anymore on Instagram because people don't see it. My stories don't even getting read or seen. So I'm quite done with Instagram. And after all, every time I actually post something, I get 20 to 30 requests for spam requests, fake accounts following me. I think it's just it takes so much time from me. It's not good. It's like everybody. I have 3,500 followers. I think really only 100 people are real from them. The other ones are just not there. On Vero, I have a little over 1,000 followers, and I see the people there are more engaged with each other, not only with my content, but what other people do as well, because it's a far more relaxed. It's not algorithm based, so you don't get suggestions feed to you all the time, like, oh, follow this person, follow that person, and so it's more natural. And that's also what Vero, the makers of Vero True Social, say. They mimic normal human social interaction with their app, and it helps. I find it a great platform. Other platforms I'm on, which I think you should try, is Fireside, which is, as I noticed it or saw it, is a kind of, what has it called? It's only audio Clubhouse, but then with video. And I have a show there now every Thursday at 10 p.m., so the same time as now, but then on Thursday, I have a special show there for people that want to start meditating or are beginner meditators and want some help and want some input and want to talk to each other as well and communicate with each other and share experiences. Fireside is participatory medium, as they call it, and you can interact more actively with me and the others, and it's video, it's audio based, and I send it out as a podcast as well. So that's also another one you can try. If you go, for those on Instagram, if you go to the link on my profile, you will get a whole overview over where I am, also Fireside and Vero True Social. So I can highly recommend getting away from Instagram. I'm on Instagram for the live sessions on Monday. That's basically it. And now and then I post something. Fireside link, flow state. I will contact you afterwards because I have to grab my phone then, and then you all will get dizzy and whatever. Yep, I'll send you the link to everywhere. But you can find it when you go to my profile as well. Okay. let's do some meditation, shall we? It's 20 minutes we're talking. That's not good. Let's do some serious practice. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to guide you through a heart-brain coherence session. I'm going to do it short. So I'm not going to do the whole thing with, like you're used to, like breathing first, slowing down your breath, breathing and noticing where you feel your breath the most, and then get your focus to your heart. We are going straight to our heart, like you would do if you are used to heart-brain coherence sessions, like you would do in the morning. Because don't waste your time getting all calmed down, because in the morning when you wake up by your alarm, you're a little bit frightened maybe, but you calm down quickly because it's early in the morning and you know already I'm going to get ready for this session. So you're already centered, you're already calm enough to go straight to the heart. So that's what we're going to do. So a short 10-minute session this was going to be. Exactly what I do every morning before I start my day. Okay? So normally I would sit on the side of my bed, but just say now that you're sitting comfortably. That's more than enough. And close your eyes. Your back straight. Just take one good inhale through your nose. And exhale through your mouth, and then just lower your shoulders. Get settled, loosen your jaw, relax. And let's focus straight on our heart. You can help by just putting your hand on your chest right there where your heart is. We go straight to the heart. Just sense how it feels, focusing on your heart, becoming more aware of your heart space. And then imagine that you are breathing through your heart. Just imagine that. Breathe through your heart, nice and calm, nice and slow. A calmer and deeper breath than you would usually do. Most likely, if this is your morning, it is already a calm, deep breath. Just make sure that you have a calm, deep breath. And then continue to imagine breathing through your heart. And as I do that, I think about what state of being I want to be in during the day. You can ask yourself, what do I want to contribute with today? What energy do I want to send out into the world? And if you work every day and you're amongst colleagues, just think about what you want to contribute with to the day, towards your colleagues. How do you want to behave? How do you want a meeting? You might maybe have a meeting. How do you want that meeting to go? How are you in that meeting? So based on the knowledge you have of the day, what is lying ahead of you, decide how you're going to contribute to it, which feelings and emotions you want to express that benefit you and your colleagues and the people around you. And as you breathe through your heart, become that person. become that person you need to be this day. You need to be, you want to be this day. And especially if there's something challenging ahead which worries you a bit, you can imagine that part of the day and see it succeed. And what feelings do you have and emotions do you have when you notice you are succeeding at that time? Focus on that. Breathe through your heart. And make that scene, even if it hasn't happened yet, just make that scene that you are imagining right now, visualizing right now, as real as possible. Continue breathing through your heart. And by doing this, by practicing your day, to say it this way, you are giving your mind and your body and your nervous system, your whole energy system, a taste of the future. And you will notice that after a while, when you practice this every day, that when you get in a situation that worried you a little bit, like, oh, here I have to perform on my best, that you notice that situation and that you feel already, oh, I've been here before, I've been in this situation before, and I acted like this and that, and then I succeeded. And you will notice that you will almost automatically go in that direction already. Just because you practiced it in the morning. So this is like tuning yourself for the day. What energy, what frequency, how much of my heart do I want to send out into the world today? And after a short while, as you practice that, it's time to get on with the day. It's time to get out of bed. Maybe you want to have some breakfast. And already set the intention that you take that state of being, that person you practiced on, you take that state of being with you through the day. And set the intention that when you notice you go away from that state of being, that you get into another state of being. Set the intention that you will notice that you will get the time to adjust yourself again. Okay, so let's get back. Keep that state of being with you. Keep that person that you are right now with you. So notice the room you are in. Sense the room you are in. Notice any sounds in the room. Breathe normally again. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, move your body back and forth and from side to side. Wiggle with your fingers and toes. And when you are ready, open your eyes. Welcome back. So that was around a little less than 10 minutes, and even I explained a little bit more, then you would use a little bit more time than I usually do. So that's the practice you can do every morning. Ask yourself, what do I want to contribute with to the world today? Are there any challenges ahead for me today that I want to succeed? How in general will I deal with some colleagues that might be difficult? other people. Just go ahead and plan your day, basically, and tune in to making it a success. Even better if you, in the evening, evaluate your day. What has happened? Did that meeting, for example, or that presentation I was worried about, or the exam I was worried about, did it go better than I expected? Because I noticed that I came into a situation where I felt I already had been before, because I trained it, I practiced it. And there's nothing weird with it, because this technique is used by athletes as well, even fighter pilots. When athletes go into a game, how often they visualize their run, how often they visualize the game when they're playing football, for example, and already anticipating things. How often you sometimes see fighter pilots on their training standing in the room, having their hand in front of them, and they do this with their eyes closed. They are visualizing their whole route through the air, all the maneuvers they're going to do. They're already visualizing, they're feeling it. They are already there in the sky, in their fighter jet, doing their practices, doing their run, to say it that way. They are doing the same thing as you are doing in the morning. You're just practicing for your day. What am I going to do? How am I going to participate? How I'm going to react to certain things that I'm anticipating is going to happen. It's you, and like I said, you're already giving your mind and body a taste of the future. And when you get into that situation, more often than not, you will notice that, hey, I've been here before. I've practiced this. And then you feel prepared. You notice instead of thinking about how to do things right there and then, you already have a plan. It's already inside of you, and you follow that much more easier. And my experience, especially with presentations and meetings, that's why I stopped being so stressed about preparing for presentations and workshops and courses, and just visualize it going perfectly. In whatever happens, I am in a certain way, a certain state of being, which makes it succeed whatever happens. So I'm much more relaxed up front and just going with the flow much better than what I've done before I started with this meditation practice every day. Then I was worried up to the point when the presentation started or the workshop started, like, what could go wrong, But since I've practiced that everything would be okay, everything will go perfectly fine, things actually go much better than that. So that's something you will notice. But again, point number one, I said at the start of this session, consistency. Practice every day. And like you saw now, you only need 5 to 10 minutes. Every morning, 5 to 10 minutes. Dial in, tune in to that frequency, that state of being you want to have during the day. What do you want to contribute with to the world, etc. Yes? So, if you find it difficult to set up a daily meditation practice, go to my website, tmg.community. There you'll find a 7-day meditation challenge, which teaches you heart-brain coherence, as well as tips and tricks to setting up your daily meditation practice. So do that. It's a session. It's a workshop or course, to say that goes over 7 episodes. You can do them all in 7 hours if you want to, or you can do them one every week. I would recommend you do one every day, of course. But you can do it in your own pace. But at least you get the knowledge and the practice about, okay, how can I set up a daily meditation practice with heart-brain coherence, what we practice right now. All right. I hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you back on Thursday on Fireside for those that want more meditation tips and tricks. I don't remember anymore what we are going to talk about on Thursday, but you will see when you join Fireside. I have a session already laid out there, scheduled and prepared. And if you can join on Thursday, know that there are always the recordings as well. And then I hope to see you back on Monday again on Instagram, Second Life and Matrix for our heart-brain coherence session. Take good care. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Take good care. Namaste.